Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to IrixGuy's live show. And I've been doing some work on the chroma keying, the lighting, trying to get everything perfected. One thing to look at, the hair, see if there's any green from the green screen there. So I'm trying to get everything nailed. I've got key light here, key light there, and then I got these fill lights in the back in front of the green screen. So this is really cool that I've got this going here. Actually, I ran into a challenge previously with the live green screen backdrop, and what had happened there, I was using an Apple TV, which worked great, but with the latest iterations of Apple TV OS, the operating system that the Apple TV, I guess I should just say TV OS, the latest iterations of it, when I did to the Apple TV, when I was streaming my background clip to the Apple TV and I set it into loop, it would only loop about one time and then it would stop, because this video clip behind me that I'm using for my chroma key backdrop, for my green screen backdrop, it's only a few minutes in duration, so I'll loop it. But the primary purpose for this live stream, I really want to test the quality of the audio. I want to test the quality of the backdrop, something I'm working on. And I've got I've got one more, I've got one more, or actually two. I've got two more inputs on my MacBook Pro. So what I can do with that, I can use those as virtual monitors of sorts, because what I'm working on for the live show, one of the big components of this channel right now, obviously, is it's always going to be grilling and how-to and that sort of stuff. I love drones. There's going to be some more drone content. Drone content's become a little bit challenging just due to the fact that, well, finding a suitable place to fly a drone has gotten to be more challenging, and then also going to other destinations while traveling with the drone has become quite cumbersome. And it's just inevitably, unfortunately, it's a situation where there's almost always some sort of confrontation if I've got a drone. So it's problematic. But what we're going to do is dive into a bunch of really cool stuff. Now, love it or hate it, artificial intelligence, AI, and especially in my case, generative AI, generative meaning that I'm generating something. Generative AI is a super cool tool set, and it enables me to create an abundance of content to blend in with my traditional video. I'm going to explore AI, artificial intelligence, with live streaming. I think there's a lot of exploration opportunity there. Obviously, this being IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, anything can be an adventure, and adventure is knowledge. So learning how to do something new, and what better way to do that than to leverage the latest AI tool sets. I mean, I'm working on one thing, and this was just a quick see if I could do it type project. I leveraged AI to create what's called Python. That's if you're not really technical, Python is a programming language. So I leveraged artificial intelligence to create a Python script that runs on top of the Linux operating system. And what that Python script does, it communicates with by way of an API to let's just call it a database of stock transactions. So, the closing price, the opening price, the volume, the individual ticker symbols. But that's not what I was going after. What I was going after with the creation of this script was the ability to intelligently identify stocks that meet or exceed certain criteria. And that, to me, was, well, and I'm not going to get into the technical weeds, but you've probably heard of dividends. Some stocks pay dividends. And there's something called an EX, or some people say X dividend date, EX dividend. And what that means is at a high level, and this is for entertainment purposes only, it should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. I'm sharing this video for entertainment purposes only. But in essence, what my script does, it scans the market, and I'll run this script that I created using artificial intelligence. I'll run it at the end of a trading day, and I'll analyze the market. Now, what am I looking for specifically? Well, I'm looking for ticker symbols, stocks that pay a dividend. But not only am I looking for stocks that pay a dividend, but I'm looking for stocks that pay a dividend and historically throughout the past 12 months. And again, just because of past performance doesn't mean that it may or may not continue to behave the same way. But I'm looking at stocks for a 12-month period, which I feel is somewhat significant. I mean, it's only a year, but I'm looking for stocks that only dipped on the EX dividend day, that only dipped by, I think I put in 2.5%. So I'm looking at something that historically, even though it pays a dividend, that it tends to retain the share price. I mean, most stocks that are paying dividends, they tend to dip a little bit in price per share. But so that's part of the criteria. The other is finding during a month's period. So, some months have 31 days, some months have less, but stocks that meet or exceed that criteria that pay a dividend, then I'm having artificial intelligence create a schedule for each of the upcoming months. And essentially what that schedule tells me, and again, this is for entertainment purposes only, but what that schedule tells me is, here's a list of stocks that met your criteria. Here's their EX dates. So what I'll do, I'll schedule trades throughout a month-long period. And essentially what I'll do with those securities, I'll go in and get in prior to the EX date. Because keep in mind, and this could change, this is for entertainment purposes only, but typically if someone has possession of a stock prior to the EX date, then typically they will probably get the dividend. So what I've done, I've created this script, so it'll tell me a month, time frame of a month, and it'll say, here's the EX dates, and here's the associated tickers. So what I do is I schedule my trade so that I'm in each of those tickers prior to the EX date, but on the EX date, I exit, meaning that, so I'm in, so I should be eligible for the dividend, and then when the EX date hits, I exit with the expectation that hopefully I'll still collect the dividend, and hopefully on the EX date, there will be a minimal price per share dip. And sometimes it may go up price per share, but typically there's a little bit of a dip. And then I'll move on to the next using my script for that month. I'll move on to the next security, do the same thing, get in prior to the EX date, and then close the position on the EX date. And this little strategy, it's not what one would refer to as rocket science, but it's called dividend harvesting. So essentially, I'm able to hop in and out of various securities throughout a month, so in sequence, because AI has identified the EX date, so I know when to enter and when to exit. So that's one of the AI things that I've been working on. Obviously, you've seen my videos. I do a lot with generative AI for the for video creation. That's been a lot of fun. It continues to be a lot of fun. What's really cool about generative AI is that the video quality is becoming better. I've used several tools. I've used Hailuo AI, also known as Minimax, which is really good for action type sequences. At least at the time of filming this, to my knowledge, Minimax does not have the ability to bring voice to the AI generated videos, but hopefully that's coming soon. Google's what's called the Veo 3.1 or VO 3.1, VEO. That is absolutely incredible. It took the VEO 3 and made the visual quality even more refined. I found that when I create my video prompts, which is basically plain description, text description of saying, here's what I want the video to be, I'm able to get more consistently solid results, meaning that when I enter my video prompts, I'm more confident that VEO 3.1 will be able to generate exactly what I was asking for. And the beauty of that also is that sometimes with VEO 3.1, even if I provide a even highly generic video prompt like a raccoon playing golf, I may get something very usable. Now, if I want to drill down and further refine it, I may say a realistic looking raccoon playing golf at Pebble Beach. The raccoon is wearing a golf shirt and golf shorts. And I could even become more descriptive. The raccoon is wearing a pink golf shirt and brown golf shorts and maybe brown golf shoes. So there's a lot of level of detail that one can add to generative AI video prompts. And it's absolutely fascinating technology. A lot of people, including myself, are a little bit fearful of artificial intelligence because in the wrong hands, AI could become something very, very dangerous. But using it for what it is, using it to fuel a lot of personal passion projects. And again, that's what IrixGuy's Adventures channel is all about, is going out and exploring the latest and greatest and sharing those adventures with others. So AI is one of those new things that a lot of people, they limit their exposure to artificial intelligence to chatbots. I mean, that's pretty much just barely scratching the surface. But when you think about artificial intelligence and how it can be leveraged to write software, in my example, writing the dividend harvesting script for the stock market. I mean, I'm not a programmer. I mean, I can do a lot with technology and I can write a lot of Unix shell scripts, but I'm not a programmer. It's just not my skill set. But by leveraging artificial intelligence, I'm able to augment my own abilities. I'm able to say, well, I know this much about it. At least I know how to explain within a great amount of detail what I'm trying to accomplish. And then artificial intelligence can create what I want it to do. And that's in my opinion, the true value add of artificial intelligence is the augmentation of one's own abilities. I mean, someone with zero understanding of certain subject matter, they could probably still leverage artificial intelligence and create something. But someone that understands the subject matter that they're using artificial intelligence to help augment, that's when they can create something great, and they can create something in a lot lesser amount of time. So artificial intelligence is very powerful especially for smaller operation. I mean, I'm IrixGuy's Adventure channel. At the time of posting this live stream, I've only got close to 100,000 subscribers. But by being a one-man show, I'm able now to leverage artificial intelligence to do more, and that's the really fascinating thing. So part of what I want to explore on my channel, where you're watching this, youtube.com/IrixGuy, are new ways to leverage AI, new ways to leverage artificial intelligence, because it's a sandbox full of fun, and it's just a matter of getting in there and figuring out what all can be done. And there's nothing wrong with exploring within reason, but like any other new technology, there's often risk associated with it. So I'm going to remain very cautious, extremely careful about how I leverage artificial intelligence here for IrixGuy's Adventure channel. But it's one of the things that I'm really excited to dive into a ton of depth, artificial intelligence. There's some other things. I've got some backcountry adventures coming, so I'll be posting those videos. Always good to get outside, get the fresh air, try to find Bigfoot, and the Aqua Yeti in the wilderness. So that's super important. You may have seen my Aqua Yeti videos. If you haven't, subscribe and check them out. We got people tuning in here. Welcome aboard, everybody. I know this is kind of a weird time. I didn't schedule this show, but I did want to do IrixGuy's Adventure Channel live show episode 168. And I finally gotten, you can't see it right now because I got my green screen up, but I'm reasonably confident that I've hopefully somewhat inoculated the brown recluse problem. I had a brown recluse infestation here in my studio. This is IrixGuy's Adventure Channel Studio 2.0. You know that this is my studio at the Appalachian Ocean. My old studio didn't have a brown recluse problem there, but here I did. And one thing I've been very adamant about is making sure I don't have cardboard sitting around. I come in here, I clean very frequently. Obviously, I've got an air purifier. I've got an HVAC mini split system. And the most important thing, I've got with the air purifier, I've got this thing where I can put in essential oils. And what you may not realize is that certain essential oils like eucalyptus, lemongrass, and some others, those may potentially cause brown recluse spiders to run away. And hopefully that's what I've been able to accomplish, because I'm looking around right here and I feel reasonably safe sitting here that a brown recluse isn't going to crawl up my leg and bite me. So that's important, you know, having a safe work environment, which is here, IrixGuy's Adventure Channel Studio 2.0. Y'all tell me, I feel like I've gotten the lighting and the audio nailed, and hopefully the video quality as well. Obviously, at the time of filming this, to my knowledge, I don't think there's the ability to stream in 4K with YouTube. Maybe if I'm wrong, comment below and tell me. But I hope that the video quality, the audio quality, I hope that you find both to be at least acceptable. So we are, let's see, what I've got to work on next, as I mentioned, I've got to work on my additional ports for my, let's see, I'm going to, this is off camera here. I'm opening up my software that I use to live stream. It's actually not just software, it's software and hardware. I use the Blackmagic Design ATEM Mini Pro. So I'm looking at what's called my multi-view, which is where you see me with the green screen backdrop. But I've got, with my current ATEM Mini Pro, I've got the ability to add two more displays. So something I may do is run a, let's see, I guess technically I've got an HDMI cable that I could run, because my MacBook Pro, I've got one plug which is going into my Rodecaster Pro. And then I've got the other plug, these plugs being USB-C style form factor. Actually, Apple's going to call it Lightning, even though it's the same size as USB-C. It's USB-C will work with it. So I've got one going into my Rodecaster Pro. I've got the other going into, well, it's what's feeding. It's a virtual display, which is feeding the green screen backdrop. Then I've got one Thunderbolt port, USB-C port, that's not currently occupied. So what I can do with that is that I can run a USB-C to HDMI. So I'll have USB-C on the MacBook Pro end. MacBook Pro's right here in front of me. And then I will have HDMI on the ATEM Mini Pro end. So that'll give me the ability, as we go through tutorials about artificial intelligence, to be able to screen share and talk through visually what I'm doing and answer your questions in real time, because I think there's a lot of excitement coming here. I know I've learned so much, and I haven't even scratched the surface with sharing my AI journey on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel yet. So it's going to get super exciting. And then I've got a full-size HDMI port to where I can plug in full-size HDMI cable on the MacBook Pro end, which is in front of me, and then also on the ATEM Mini Pro end. So this is nice, being able to have this set up. Like I said, I had the brown recluse spider infestation, and as the product of having the brown recluse spider infestation, I had to vacate the studio for a while. I mean, you know, I've got this awesome studio set up with the acoustic treatments and this, that, and the other, but I didn't want to have a brown recluse bite me and have my body rot to pieces. So, I mean, that's, if you don't know, that's what brown recluses typically do. They bite you, and then your skin rots, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. But in certain situations, a brown recluse bite can be, I guess it could be deadly. Kyle C., welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Kyle C., if you don't know, is one of the longest running subscribers of the channel. Kyle has been here since the early days of IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. And I don't even know how long ago that was, man. Maybe you know. I know it's been, well over 10 years. I mean, this channel's been running a while, but always been a great supporter, helping to continue to grow the channel. You know, like I said, right now it's almost at 100,000 subscribers. I know that's a small step forward, but I'm excited about 100,000 subscribers because I should be able to get the YouTube silver play button once I hit 100,000 subscribers. So that's going to be a major milestone for IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. I mean, 100,000 is not a lot. I mean, there's a lot of YouTube channels that are a lot larger than 100,000 subscribers, but it's going to be nice to achieve that miniature milestone. So I'm super stoked about that. Like I said, I've got, actually, I'm going to walk off camera, see if I got an HDMI cable. I may see if I can plug it in and do some sort of monitor share here. Hold on, let me get that. Yeah, I've got some cables, but not as many cables as I thought I did. Everybody just tuning in, welcome aboard. Kyle C. says, good to hear 100,000 is not too shabby at all. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, optimistically, hopefully I can break through the first 100,000 subscribers by the end of calendar year 2025. I know that's only, not too many days away, but I mean, it's possible. It's just a matter of people subscribing, ringing that bell, and sharing with everybody they know, because that's what it takes, man. People have to join in and support the channel like you have for many, 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 many years. So, that's deeply appreciated. That is significant. So now what I got to find is the, let's see. Yeah, I just updated. What's cool, man, I will tell you, ATEM Blackmagic Design, ATEM Mini Pro, and there's different versions of the unit, but ATEM Mini Pro has been outstanding. And as recent as, I think it was last month, I think it was September, they released another software update for the ATEM Mini Pro, and I'm running it right now, man. This thing is solid. I'm getting about, let's see, what is that megabits per second? I think I'm getting about a little bit over 9 megabits per second up. I'm running into zero caching issues in my live stream. I'm using the maximum quality that the ATEM Mini Pro currently allows for live stream. It's just a YouTube RTMP session for the live stream, and I'm looking. I've got a monitor in front of me. I'm looking at that, and I can see the status of the live stream. There's no caching. There's no issues with the health of the live stream. So that is fascinating. And of course, I've got the ATEM Mini Pro hardwired into my network here at the IrixGuy's Adventure channel. So yeah, this is all great. This is exceptional because I'm able to I'm able to live stream without any hiccups. I mean, this is solid. It's hopefully the audio and the video are both good. Kyle C confirms. He says feeds crystal clear. We've got Esoteric. Hi, IrixGuy. We love you. The Archieverse. Oh, Archieverse. If you don't know who the Archieverse is Archibald Chesterfield III, AC3. He's arguably the most famous and knowledgeable wristwatch personality in the world. He hails from Brisbane, Australia. So always a good shout out to Archibald Chesterfield III. Interesting you mentioned that, Esoteric, because Archibald Chesterfield III, somebody I ran into, this would have been probably well over, I don't know, whatever the early days of his channel were, because I was researching. And at the time, I had an Omega Seamaster 300M, and his videos kept popping up, and I was watching them, and I learned about all these different wristwatches. So that was Archibald Chesterfield III. Really good, long-running YouTuber that actually I think he deserves a lot more subscribers than he currently has. I mean, that dude has been a powerhouse, has remained a powerhouse and knowledge base for wristwatch collectors throughout the world. And like I said, he hails from Brisbane, Australia. So, but that's good to hear that the feed is crystal clear, the audio and the video. And I've been watching out of the corner of my eye over here. I've been paying close attention to I think it's a 42-inch Ultra HD TV, and I've got it on a stand. And essentially what I can see the preview, and then I can see what y'all are seeing, which is called the program, which is the actual live stream. And then I can see the various statistics, my audio levels, my stream health. Again, it hasn't cached at all. If you run into network congestion with a live stream, what'll happen, it'll start to cache, it'll start to buffer. And then eventually, if the bandwidth is not there to enable the live stream to continue, eventually the live stream will fail. But like I said, zero caching issues, zero audio issues that I'm aware of. It seems like everything is hunky-dory. Kyle C says, I saw a recent-ish video of this. Says he going gold watches only. You have one on the radar, Irix. Actually, I don't. I've got just strictly stainless. But in the future, I would like to get into I really like the root beer. But because of the tariff situation, I'm like Archibald III. I want a discount. And I don't want just a discount. I want a deep discount. And now, because of the tariff situation, it's really the prices have risen. And not only that, and I'll post some videos on timepieces for tomorrow to talk about this. But one of the other things associated with the 39% Swiss tariff is a lot of, especially some of the smaller manufacturers that are based out of Switzerland, a lot of those are going to be less likely to make an effort to do business with the United States because of the tariff. And the ones that are, the big players, Rolex, AP, Patek, list goes on, a lot of those we're probably going to see a lesser supply of their wristwatches in the United States. So it's going to really shake up the wristwatch industry. I think it's going to open up a lot of new micro brands, potentially a lot of micro brands that are based out of the United States. I think we're going to see that. but as far as going out like it was, let's say back in the early 2000s, that's how far back I go. I go back actually prior to early 2000s, but the going back and doing the the where you could go into an authorized dealer and then negotiate a steep discount, and they had everything you wanted in stock. I think that ship has sailed, and I think it sailed a long time ago. Yeah, the OP39 114-300, that's exceptional. I think it's interesting that it was such a short run. Now it comes in a variety of different dial colors, but like you said, the white's the one to get, and I think that is going to be a highly collectible piece, especially a few years down the road, because they've gone. I mean, a millimeter doesn't seem like a lot, but they've gone, a millimeter up. Will they ever do another 39 millimeter reference of that with a white dial? And if they do, will it still have the same dial? Because one of the other things a lot of people don't realize, the sticks on the dial of that, they were single sticks, and the current references have double sticks. So there's a lot of things they've done beyond increasing the size of the OP that really makes that 114-300 that was a somewhat limited run highly desirable, in my opinion. So I think that is and the other thing esoteric about that is, I mean, obviously the bracelet being brushed. I mean, you go with a date just, you're going to have, if whether you go Jubilee or Oyster, you're not going to get a solid brushed bracelet, and you get that with that OP39. And a lot of people like that because it's not a scratch magnet. So I mean that is one dude to hold on to for sure. I would definitely say that. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. I've got to walk over to my display here in a little bit, and just each footstep's about a foot. I'm going to estimate how long of a cable I need, because I want to get that. I want to get that second HDMI. So I've got my green screen, but then I've also got a screen share as well. And then that's just from one controlling computer. In this case, the MacBook Pro. That's going to make managing these live streams effortless. One thing I don't have is a power source. I guess something I could do is got a lot of power jacks. Yeah, I probably need to hook up but if I plug my laptop into this has a MagSafe connector, so I could actually plug a MagSafe charger in and keep it charged during live stream. But to give you an idea of battery life for MacBook Pro, I'm only down to 86% battery life. So, I mean, I've been doing this entire live stream. I've got a bunch of applications open. I mean, this thing is, there's really no need for a live stream to have it plugged into a power source while live streaming. So I think I'm good there. Let's see, what else do we have here? Just like I said, just going through and testing all of the new settings, making sure I've got all my firmware up to date. As I mentioned, I've updated the firmware for my ATEM Mini Pro. And yeah, Blackmagic Design has done an incredible job. And I think, as you mentioned, the audio and video sound clear. This, I'm still using the Rodecaster Pro. This thing is phenomenal. It gives it that really high-end audio for the live streams, which is cool. And something I can do is zoom in a little bit. I may do that. Let's do this. Let's get it. That's pretty much perfect because I've just got a little bit of room over my head. You can't see my laptop anymore, but it's also nice because if I'm working on something on the table, then whatever I'm working on the table is not visible during the live stream. So I think this right here, And surprisingly, and I did upgrade or update the firmware in the camera as well. This is was it EV, I forget the Sony model, but it's an older Sony, but they released a firmware update. And I think Sony with this has done an incredible job. Normally for a live stream, I would put it into manual focus, but I've been running this with Sony's autofocus. So hopefully the focus of the video has remained solid. And that's part of the reason I'm doing, well, one of the main reasons I'm doing this live stream is just to test all of the latest firmware updates and then ultimately perfect the positioning of my cables. I've got a cable cover that runs across the floor in my studio, and then I've got all the wires that plug into my laptop. From there to the ATEM, they run through that so I won't trip over it. So that's kind of neat. And I got to get that one cable. That's what I got to do. Let's see. USB-C to HDMI cable. Oh man, they've got tons of these. So now it's just a matter of finding one that's long enough. Huh. Yeah, that's not going to be an issue at all, finding that cable. And they're not expensive. They're like $9 US, so that's not bad. So that's how I'll do that. I'll get a cable of substantial length and plug that in, and everything will be good to go. It's got to find a long one. Let's see, long. Long USB-C to HDMI cable. There's a 15-footer. That's probably what I'll go with. And I'll just need to get, well, actually, I can get the same color. 10 foot, 10 foot, 6 is too short. There's a 25-footer. I think that's a little bit excessive. So, yeah, I'm going to get all these cables plugged in, and this thing's going to be solid. But I've got it set up because, see, I can, using the integrated software control piece called ATEM software control, I can go to outputs. I'm viewing what's called multi-view now, but I could switch to computer and see it full screen. Like I said, I've got I think it's a 40-inch or 42-inch 4K display in front of me. So I can, when I'm sharing stuff and talking through it, I can do that. And let's see, output. Then I've got my camera, which is right there. Yes, autofocus looks, to me, it seems to be solid. Output multi-view. Boom. Yep, so that looks good. Everything looks good. So I'm glad that this is working, and most importantly, do I see any brown recluse spiders? I don't see any. So I feel reasonably safe sitting at my talk show desk here in IrixGuy's Adventure Channel Studio 2.0. Because remember, this is the second studio. The old studio is no more. This is the studio at the Appalachian Ocean. So actually I'll only do one more HDMI cable because I want to reserve the third input that I have. So input 1 is camera. Input 2 is this one virtual display. Input 3 will be the next HDMI cable that I plug in, which will be my virtual desktop share. And then the fourth one, because again, I've got the ATEM Mini Pro, which has 4 HDMI ports. You can get an Extreme or whatever they call it that has more. I don't need more. But the final one will be my other camera, which I have off camera. It's A7R5, and that's when I'm filming and I want to bring raccoons in. You know, I want to do the live stream with George Cooney. So I got that. Esoteric says, the green screen cropping looks fantastic. We were chasing this result in the early 2000s. Yeah, early 2000s streaming, I remember back then I used to use, Wirecast and some other things, and it was very difficult, not just because of the bandwidth limitation, but the camera options. I mean, the computer hardware. I mean, there were so many factors that came into play. And then, of course, the speed of internet connection. I mean, there were a lot of challenges to achieve these types of results. And, I mean, now this is done extremely affordably. I mean, it's just, you know, good camera, good lens, good audio through the Rodecaster Pro, and then the ATEM Mini Pro to maintain the YouTube live connection, the YouTube live stream, and to provide HDMI inputs for various devices. So this is great. And let's see, what do we have here? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I've found what I need to, I've tested what I needed to test. Thanks for y'all's feedback. Now I've just got to get a $10 or $12 cable and I'll have everything I need. So thanks for your viewership. Subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll be doing a lot more live streams soon, especially with the screen share, which is going to be really cool. Y'all have a good day.